Alright guys, Tristan Kaylor here from Gecko Junkie. Hanging out at my buddy Brad Large's house. Just did the Atlanta Repticon show. Had a great time out there. Thanks for everybody that stopped by. We're hanging out here with one of Brad's new Crested geckos that he got in about a week ago. And he was having me go through and check out some of his babies. And Freckles here is having some problems with shed. So I'm going to touch base with you guys on how to help them shed and some tools that you can use to help these guys shed. You know, one of the things that I like to tell people is that this is one of the leading causes to death for crested geckos, in my opinion. You know, a lot of times the crested geckos will get stuck shed and stuff like that, and if you don't get it off, it's going to dry up on them and it can lead to death. In my opinion, or in my recent crested gecko breeding and stuff, that's things that lead to death. So I stuck this guy on here, and as you're going to see, he's having problems hanging on there. He's sliding around. He could potentially fall. I'm going to go ahead and stop him from doing that so that we don't hurt him at all while we're trying to help him out and get the shed off of him. So some things that you can do to help him out is you can get a deli cup and some paper towel. Simply sit these guys in there and give them a soak. Okay, I've already soaked this guy a little bit and I've taken him out and let him dry off a little bit, and now I'm going to work on him. So some tools that you can do or use to help these guys shed is we've got some tweezers here, or you can use some Q-tips, okay? If you have a hard time seeing, or if it gets to some spots that you can't see as well, you can use a magnifying glass to help you get in close and see a lot better for helping this guy shed. So I'm just gonna kind of sit back here, I'm gonna work on him a little bit, I'm gonna show you guys how to pull some of the shed off. We'll take some close-up shots and let you guys actually see some of the problems that he's having and what we're doing to help him out, okay? All right, guys, so like I said, we're gonna start working on this guy. I've kind of got him prepped up just a little bit. We're gonna start you off from step one all the way through the whole process of how to take care of this guy and get some shed off of him. My buddy Brad, he just got these crested geckos in last week, and I've worked on 3 of the other ones that he got in, and they've all had stuck shed. I think maybe that's one of the reasons that this guy maybe has no tail, because some of the other guys, their tails are really, really bad. They've got multiple layers. So we're working on these guys tonight. We're getting them all set up and getting them fixed up. So I'm going to show you guys, if you're ever having this problem, how to go about it. So step one, what you're going to want to do, get a paper towel, the deli cup, stick these guys in here, little paper towel in there like that. Give a nice soak of the paper towel. You don't want to soak it too much, but a nice saturation. We're going to sit this guy in here. I'm actually going to give him a little spray on his body. And so you'd want to let that guy sit in there. You would tub him up and leave him in there for approximately 15-20 minutes and let him sit in there and soak up some water real good. And the reason we're doing that is to help the shed come off easier for him. And it's not going to hurt him as much when we actually start pulling off of his body. Because due to the fact that he is having shed problems, we're going to actually get in there and we're going to pull it off. So that way he's going to thrive a lot better and he can go ahead and move on to his next shed. So again, like I said, we want to leave this guy in there for 15-20 minutes. I'm going to pull him out. I've had him soaking a little bit earlier just so that once we got to this process, we could go ahead and continue on. As you can see here, if you guys will zoom in here, and I've worked up a couple pieces that you can see, and again, he's got multiple layers that are stuck together there. He's had a couple shed problems going on here maybe for about last couple weeks. And I'm just gonna, you know, gradually start working on this guy and kind of pulling that off. And hopefully we can get it all off for him. So we're gonna try to get the best footage we can for you of how to peel it back and show you some of the layers he's got going on here. He's got lots of shed all over him. So as you see, I'm just using a pair of tweezers. Again, I told you guys earlier that you can use Q-tip. Sometimes that'll help you roll it back. I like tweezers just because I can get a better grip on the shed and pull it off. Again, we like to, you know, remind you that we want to save this guy's life. And the shed could lead to death, so we want to get it off of him. So even if it's uncomfortable for him, we want to make sure that we're getting all this shed off. And eventually, he'll calm down and he'll get comfortable. There's a piece coming off of him. The most important part's gonna be on his feet, but we've gotta work our way down to his feet from the top. There we go. So we'll work that down, bring that down to the leg. You can just use the point on the end of the tweezers and kind of start rolling it back enough to where you can actually pinch down on it without getting a hold of the skin on the crested gecko. And then you can grab a hold of the pieces and just kind of pull back gently. There's a good piece we got off of him there. Ooh, there's a good piece on the top of his foot we're gonna work on here. Let's try to pull the top of his foot off here. So sometimes you will not see the shed on these guys. Again, my buddy Brad just got these in. He is new to the crested gecko world, so he is still learning. So we like to teach people, and that's why we're shooting this video. That's why we're helping Brad out here today and helping him get the shed off of these guys. But sometimes you can't always see it. Most important part is you want to always try to get it off the end of their toes. Again, like I was saying, you might not always see it, so some things that are going to show you signs is these guys won't be able to stick to the side of the glass or the tub that you may have them in. We're going to get a good piece right here. We're going to pull off the whole bottom of his foot. We'll have this guy walking on glass in no time. Alright, so we're going to get a good close-up shot here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull off the remaining pieces. And as you can see there, he's going to have his sticky pads back, and he'll be back in action. And I'm not applying too much pressure on him, I'm just kind of holding him still. So don't think I'm squeezing him too hard. You don't want to squeeze him too hard. Again, if you feel him squirming in your hand, kind of just let him move and get another grip, and they'll chill out eventually. There's a good part that's coming off. Nice piece coming off there on the back side. So again, just to remind you guys, we don't want to harm the crested gecko, but we would rather do this than them lead to death. So whatever measures it takes for us to get all this shed off this guy, we gotta do what we can to help him out. Let's see if we can get a good piece working down the belly here. It is relieving once you finally get it all off of them and you know that they're gonna be okay. There we go, we got this piece working real good. Again, keep in mind, if you don't get it all off, you can always give this guy another soak for the evening. It does take time, it's not gonna happen really fast. You gotta be careful not to pinch them, and you don't wanna cause any wounds for them. You just wanna kinda gently pull the shed off. You can use your fingers as well. As you can see, once you get a good piece going, you can kinda pull it off with your fingers. We're gonna get this on off of the back legs. The idea is to have this come off all in one piece. You want to try to work it off in one piece. You break that piece and it's going to be harder to get a hold of a new one. Looks like it's probably going to break off before I can get down there. Yep. So some common things that happen. As you see, this guy's got a piece that's wrapped basically around his arm. We've kind of shed off the rest of the top of the body. So say for instance that he shed, but that right there was all that was left. He can potentially lose this entire limb. Same thing that happens with the tails, and that's why I was saying earlier that maybe this guy lost his tail because of all the shed that he's got going on here. As you can see, he's got a few little pieces right there on the end of the toes. We're gonna work that piece off there. Very important to get that end of the toes off. Some other signs is you'll see little sores on the bottom of their feet that will indicate that they are having problems shedding, or it just will simply look really dry. You see that guy looks really dry there? So that's an indication that they need to shed. He's still got to shed this foot. That one is actually okay, maybe. He's got a little bit going on still on that one, but this one's really bad. As you can see, it's really dry. So we're gonna work on getting that off there as best as we can. Let's try to get the rest of this leg off here. So this gecko we're working on is about 6 to 8 grams, maybe a little bit more. So just imagine what I'm doing right now on a fresh born baby. It's gonna be a lot harder be a lot harder to see. For those of you that are planning on breeding them, this is the most common problems you're going to come across with little babies. So you just want to be sure to keep the humidity right. Make sure that you're watching little pieces of shed that get stuck onto their body. Sometimes they'll shed their back on the dorsal, but they may not shed the entire body. And as you see here, we've got a good piece that's going to work off of him here. Just try to get the last piece of this little foot off here, and I'm going to actually get a good piece and pull it off here. And we're probably going to give this guy a little break, and we'll work on him again tomorrow. So I know he does look like that he is not moving very much, but he will be okay. We work on these guys all the time. I work on little babies. You do get a little aggressive with them. I know it looks like that we're manhandling them just a little bit too much, but you've got to do it. Otherwise, these guys are going to dry up and it's going to lead to death. So my ultimate goal is to make sure that we save them and get the shed off of them and make sure that they're going to thrive and continue to live. So this guy he'll be fine. We'll shoot another clip in the morning. I'll pull him back out and we'll show you that he is doing great and that he's moving around just fine. And we'll pull off some more shed and show you how the difference is tomorrow in his activity and that he'll be able to actually stick on the glass and stuff like that. All right, guys, back at you live here at Brad Large's house. We're here with Miles, his son, young gecko enthusiast. Again, these guys are new to the crested gecko world and they're still learning about it. So we're educating them as well as we're educating you during this video, so they're learning. Last night we had Freckles here that was having some shed issues, and as you've seen in previous parts of the video, this guy was having a lot of shed issues on the bottom of his feet and stuff like that. So we went ahead and helped him pull off that shed. And as you can see here, as Miles pulls him out, he's going to be a lot more active. And as you seen last night, we did a little demonstration and put him on this here spray bottle that we have. And he was having a lot of hard time hanging on to the bottle and he was sliding off. That was due to the fact that he had that shed stuck to the bottom of his feet. And as you can see here, he's hanging on to the spray bottle a lot better. He's got his grip back and he's a lot more active. He does still have some shed stuck on him, which we're going to work off of him here in just a little while and go ahead and get the rest of the skin off of him. But as you can see, he's regained his grip and he's doing a lot better, hanging on there and getting a good grip, and now he can thrive and climb on the side of his cage and through his foliage and not have any issues with the skin that was on the bottom of his feet. So we're happy to share with you guys and again with Brad and Miles how to help your crested geckos shed the skin off if they're ever having issues. Again, some signs that you can look for is on the bottom of their feet. They're going to have some dry spots on the pads, and that's what you really want to focus on getting off, is the stuff on the bottom of their feet. You'll see that they'll get a light gray pigment to them, kind of like a cast over them that's going to indicate that they're ready to shed. So again, some things you can do is put them in a deli cup and give them a soak. You can use, like we used earlier in the video, a Q-tip or tweezers to help them get the skin off. But main thing is keeping them hydrated, and that's going to help you get the skin off a lot better. And as Miles sees here, his crested gecko's doing a lot better, and I'm sure he's also happy about that. So yeah, he's super stoked about it. And now he knows how to help shed his crested geckos as well as you guys do. So that's our main focus here, is we want to bring you some great education and teach you what we know about the crested geckos and the things that we've learned. And we are still learning as well. So it's always great to share knowledge with everybody and bounce things off of each other, because these guys are doing great and they're very awesome. A great first-time pet for kids. But with that being said, and that they are easy to take care of, you do have to care for them. So we're more than happy to share this knowledge with you guys and bring this to the table. We look forward to offering a lot more videos. So if you like what we're doing here, please share it, subscribe, and we look forward to bringing you more information. Again, this is Gecko Junkie, Tristan Kaylor here, and thank you very much.